All right, a lot to throw at you. I try to start every day with a watch list of stocks. I've got 6 monitors here that I trade with, and try to populate as many charts as I can so I can watch for certain things to happen. So a lot of symbols to throw at you here, but just keep in mind it's a watch list, and many times what I trade the next day hadn't even made this watch list the night before because we find stuff in the chat room on an intraday basis as we find volume plays and shape and things like that. So having said all that, ISR, it's really just in a very tightening pattern here, okay? Not that hard to see. So it may or may not do anything tomorrow, but I do like the fact that you had this big, let me pan out even a little further, okay? So you had a nice move back here, a bigger move here, and then you've just got lower highs, you know, open, sell-off base, and so on. It's had trouble with 230 yesterday and here today a couple times. So 231, 232 area might be a catalyst where it starts taking out this, you know, kind of lower series of lower highs. So you get up about here, and this one could maybe retest 250. And who knows? Maybe if you get over 250, you retest this high of 280. So you do have what we call stacked catalysts, and it looks pretty good. So ISR makes my watch list. STJ, after breaking this base, a few days down, green candle today, deserves a spot on my watch list. TSL, I've got a few solars on watch after clicking through. And the only reason I have this on watch is after this big move, first pullback, it's really in a range now. And today, 3 days down in a row to the bottom of a range. So this watch solars tomorrow. If they get a bounce, TSL is a good candidate for a long. SCTY also near 3 days down, nearing recent lows. So there's another candidate for a bounce. I know I'm ripping through these, but I got a lot of them. CLNE, big volume up into the 200-day. Now 3 days down in a row, filled the gap. I definitely want to watch that one for a bounce too. GTAT, I like this one a little less, but it did have a really nice move here, and now 3 days down to the 20-day moving average. If I switch to 15-minute candles, let me go to 30 so you can see it better. It was, what, about a little over a week ago. You had this huge volume pop here, 2 million plus shares in the first 30 minutes, and it's done pretty well since, and now a few days down, so it could be ready to bounce back up. I believe this was on earnings, so I like that one. This one, you know, you look at this chart and you say, what the heck are you doing thinking along here? And I'm really not, to be honest with you, but you had an insider buy by, I think, the CEO, a pretty good sizable one, maybe this day or this, I think it was this day right here. And you had a few day bounce, and now you've taken out the lows of that. So it could give a decent bounce soon. It does have some support. If you pan way out, which I'm not going to do on the longer term chart, around $7. So again, I'm not in love with that one, and it's certainly an ugly chart thinking about a long, but it doesn't kill me or doesn't hurt me to have it on a chart. ISIS, this one's kind of interesting to me. Excuse me. You had a volume gap up right here. It pulled back for about a week, and then ripped right through the highs of that volume gap up, right? And so now you've got about a 4-day pullback on declining volume. So this one, if it can trade in a narrow range for a while on Wednesday and then break its early high, you could get going. So have that one on a chart, ISIS, SZYM. A little bit of a strange one here, and it's a thinner one. Gapped up 4 days ago, rallied, and then sold off, closed at its lows of the day. Well, now it's down 4 days in a row, you know, getting close to this really nice support at 9. And you had recent resistance back here around 930, and it's really gotten down to that area. So to me, it's time to start looking long for SZYM. Remember, guys, I'm a day trader. None of these are overnight calls. I'll be watching these for an intraday trade tomorrow, okay? CQH, big push up here, and now 2 red days. May need another red day, but let's watch that one for a bounce as well. And then I always try to keep one monitor. I've got 6 that I trade with. I try to keep one of them filled with lower price ones that have the chance to make a good move. I've been talking about NEON for a few days now. If it holds 3, this one's overdue for a bounce. XGTI, remember, this is my cheapie list. Over 15 million shares about 4 days ago. if this can get back above 2, you could see this thing. This has my attention because of stuff like this. Okay, it made a move from $1.50 to $5 back here, so it's a lower float stock, and especially if they get any kind of good news coming out, XGTI, any chart that can do this. Okay, any stock that can do this and has done it recently, you definitely it just doesn't cost you anything to keep that on an intraday chart. Okay, I have XGTI on watch every day because I don't want to miss the next pop. So it makes sense to have it on watch. YOD, I don't love this one, but it's in my notes for my cheapie list. You had a nice pop back here, and really it's just going sideways ever since. So I need to see volume in that one before I'll consider playing it. NQ, I almost hate, but you did have 20 million shares the other day, and it's really just kind of straight sideways after a sell-off, and then a rally. It's right back to where it was before all that started, so I don't love that one. ICLD, a nice pop here, flagged for about 2 weeks, another pop, and now it's flagging again. Keep that one on a chart. Again, these may or may not do anything for a week or two, but I always have one monitor filled with the cheapies, all right? WAVX, actually had this on watch today and just missed it. A break of the early high was a nice trade because, it's really strong, and then the pull back to the 8-day moving average, but it gave a nice pop today. If it takes out today's high, 203, it could get going, and here it is on the weekly. So you see it's had trouble with $2 here, busted through it, and then a lower volume inside week, and so back up above 2 again. And maybe we take out 220 and start fulfilling what that weekly chart looks like it might be able to do. I talked about ISR already. MNGA, this is again another one. I love it over $1.80, but it's extended right now. A lot of people have that one on watch. MY, kind of the same deal. I think this one could get ripping if it breaks 372 one of these days. Could make a move up to these recent highs. I like that one. And ZBB today got some volume, and I drew a line there. After the gap up, 2 was support. Then it broke down through it, resistance, 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 and then starting to get some volume. So back through 2, or what was today's high? 213. Over that, this one could have a measured move one of these days. So that one's on watch as well. I know that's a lot to throw at you, and I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll find stuff to trade. Irrespective of this list, we'll find stuff in the chat room to trade tomorrow on stuff that happens as the day unfolds as well. But pretty good list to start with. All right, I'll quit babbling. We'll talk to you tomorrow.